like the weekend still was a success because everybody had a good time.
Was there anything that happened during that weekend that you thought would have a repercussion out? Like, did you think that there was any drama during the weekend besides the
Oh
Nina
yeah, there was
thing?
hella drama. There was hella little things.
Besides the Nina thing, do you think there was anything that
Yeah, there
was
was things
like,
outside of Nina that like yeah that
okay,
happened,
okay,
during that weekend. Now, as far
yeah,
as people speaking on it, I don't think people want to speak on it because obviously.
because it's like weird. Because like, okay, so the weekend happened. Now we have you and Barb aren't like on the same page anymore. We have Kels and Barb's on the same page anymore. Then we have this whole split between like, like we see the split, like we see Erica and Trina and all them on one side, and then we see Barb and Tuel and all. So it's kind of like this like weird like thing. So that all came out from this weekend, like when you think about it, because and then even like Christian thing. I mean, there's so many different people that aren't cool anymore that were before.
Right.
And that's what's so strange to me, that how can this one weekend really, I mean, and obviously I don't know the details, I don't know the background. I mean, look, franchise is not even on Messy Talk anymore. Candy's like, I mean, Candy has nothing to do with it, but well, kind of in a way. She's not here anymore. Right. And then like the whole, there's so many different people that are like not cool anymore with each other just for a weekend, that it's kind of like from the outside, it didn't seem like that bad. Even with Kev the Comics thing, like it really didn't seem like that ball thing. It didn't really seem that bad as like now it's all like everything's kind of blown up and it's like
doing a lot of damage at the same time. So it's
but it's like how can it, like with the whole with Barb's thing, right? I don't understand how like bringing up the Kel's hair thing is like, why wasn't that done before the week? Like, what did that have to do with, like, how did that even get brought up? Like, why is that even?
When there's confusion with stuff like that of like why that's even coming out and why that's even a factor, I think it's because it's all rooted from something else, right? That's not being discussed. So it's like, it's like having an argument with your partner and it's something, minor, but you and your partner understand that it's not really about that argument. It's about something else deeper that people are not willing to say what it is. I think people aren't, even in the midst of the exposure, I think people are still not being honest about what the root of the issue is. I think that's the problem.
Because when it comes out on TikTok, it seems so superficial. It seems so like, what? Like, how is this the like?
Yeah.
And then
that comes from people not speaking up when there was the deeper issue. Like, right, when the change happened, people didn't speak up then. And so it's just been a buildup. So what we're seeing on the app right now is vomiting. That's pretty much what we're seeing. Like, there was a rumbling in the tummy. The tummy was upset. Tummy's been upset. Nobody wanted to address the upset tummy. And now you're seeing
it seems like there's a gallbladder coming out right now. That everyone, that you needed your gallbladder out. You've been having gallbladder attacks, and finally it's time for it to come out. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
And so okay, so the Kels thing we don't know 100% on, because she hasn't obviously, like, unless I ask her directly or she, wants to say anything, there's nothing that we could really figure out, like, because we're not talking to her like right now. But like with you, as far as you, have you and Barb ever had an issue?
No, Barb and I have never had an issue. I've never done anything to Barb. And
that you're aware of, because we're hearing that Barb is saying that stuff is being done to her, or stuff is being done that nobody else is aware of but her at the time. So as far as we know, according to you,
as far as my actions and what I've tracked, as far as like with her, like I've never done anything to her. Like I would be shocked if, you know what I'm saying?
But wouldn't Kel say the same thing?
I don't know. So I don't know, because I don't know what Kels has been through, what back in conversations she's had. Mm-hmm. She's hung out with these people before. I didn't go to the gala weekend, so I wouldn't know.
Okay. So as far as you though, you're like, there's no way, like there's nothing. Like it would be like literally.
My first time meeting Barb was that weekend.
Right. And you and her have never never had a issue with each other as far as you're
Outside
aware,
of like,
off
I mean,
or
we
on the
had
app.
tension with the Arby's thing, but we ironed that out. So there
Right.
were no
Yeah.
real feelings after that. We actually communicated with each other about that. So I don't know beyond that, like if there's anything else, like I'd be shocked to hear about anything else that was a issue along the way to this point.
And nothing was even and there was no like, oh, she did me wrong. It was like, oh yeah, an allegation that came
Yeah,
out.
straight
And
up.
that's how it kind of turned into something that was like, wait, you do have some smoke for me. I don't know why.
Right, exactly. I'm
Okay.
thoroughly confused type of situation. Like I don't even know where that even came from. And like say like even if the allegations were correct, right? Like
Right.
I'm trying to figure out like, okay, we're adults, like why would that be an issue for you? Because it has nothing to do with you, right?
Right. Right.
There's still smoke behind that, even if the allegations were true. But especially since they're not true, you know, one would even question even further, like what is going on right now?
Right. Now, we obviously do. It does seem like there's a little bit like with the whole vomiting thing. It seemed like there's a two-part issue going on here, as far as the public knows. The whole, saying like, what is the point of bringing that up?
Yeah,
Like,
like
what,
now
how
we're
does it?
backtracking.
Right.
Out of order here, or I did something to this person over here. It's just simply like she wasn't sick and she also slept with this person. Like what? Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's really strange. Like that's weird.
Right.
Like I don't, to be on the receiving end of that is very, very odd. So it's just like, why are we even doing this?
I
Like,
feel like there was, and no shade to Nina, but I feel like there was more issues surrounding your vomit and this allegation rather than like Nina getting in a fight with Putin. Like I feel like that. I was like, why?
yeah,
Like, wouldn't there be more like anger towards like?
what it seems like to me is like somebody's got to be the fall guy. We need to bring attention to elsewhere so people are not focusing on this over here. That's
What though? On what over here? What's the deflection? So deflecting from what? The fight?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It depends on like who's trying to protect who. That's what it looks
Right.
like. I don't know because I don't know who's trying to protect who out here. Like from that weekend, even like where's the protection coming from? Like who's being protected and why? That would probably bring a lot of clarity to
So
what's being said.
and that's why I think that is something bigger. Like I feel like
It is. For
I
sure.
feel like so we have like just to point like out what's actually happened, at least in my eyes, or what I'm observing. I'm observing that there's this shift of separation, where you have Trina, you have Erica Essence, like kind of put Essence and Erica in the same box, and then with the Trina thing, and meanwhile we obviously have HB feuding with them too. But it's kind of like there's this separation where Barb is almost taking like a stance on which side she's on, even though she's saying that, oh well, I'm just, whatever, I'm not on anybody's side. But it kind of does seem like there is that stance there. It seems like there's this like demarcation now. Like we have Essence, Erica, Trina, Braid on one side, and then we have like the rest on the and Kells. Then we have the rest on the other side, and the separation was between Kells and her, and between Erica and her, because Erica would be on the panels too, and Essence also, and then you, and that's what it's kind of like interesting. It's like I don't understand. And then like Dime being over there too, which is fine because they've been friends, but it's kind of like this. There's like this separation happening, and.
Yeah, I'm confused about all that because, like I said, that group of people was the first time I met with them and hung out with them. So I wouldn't know because I wasn't a part of their friend group like along the way on the back end.
Right.
And I'm still like widely, I'm really not on the back end with a lot of them anyway. So
right.
furthermore, am just as confused as the rest of the public as to what's going on
Gotcha.
and why it's happening.
Right.
They have all these back end situations that they can speak to, and I'm just sitting here like I don't know anything about that.
Right.
Like
You're just kind of like,
I can't speak to it because I don't know. I'm just as confused as the public.
But it seems like based on like Kel's response publicly, it seems like she's just as confused.
Probably. And you know, that's her perspective. So it's like,
that's what's kind of weird. It's like, how is, like, I understand if like a new person is like kind of like, what the fuck, or like, oh, whatever, you know, well, this is TikTok, versus like another person that has been cool with them for a longer period of time and on the background because they all live in the same area. I mean, you know, practically. It just seems weird that like that relationship was like severed, and it's like, how is that? Or seemingly it seems like severed, because we know that people become friends like within 24 hours after like fighting on the internet. So I don't know.
It just seems like a lot of people who claim that they were friends out in 4K weren't really friends. That's what it seems like. It seems like also that people weren't really being honest with one another up until this point of everything just now coming out. That's what it seems like to me on the surface level. Like people have just not been honest.
Right.
It seems like a lot of people have been fake.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Very strange.
Yeah.
So when that accusation happened with you, I mean, are you okay if I ask you any questions?
Sure.
Okay. When the allegation or the accusation, whatever you want to call it, allegation, I should say, when that came up with, you know, when she said what she said, like, you know, on the internet, like, oh, well, they were, you know, y'all were effing around or effing all weekend. Like, I didn't see you go up there. I wasn't there. I didn't even know it happened until after the fact. I mean, I probably could find it, but I'm sure it was like a lot of yelling. Did you, and I know you went up there and you said da 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 or whatever, but now it's kind of like I believe there was like an apology that happened at some point.
I didn't hear an apology to me. I heard there was an apology to Bree, but I didn't. Point I was lied on, and I don't know about any other sidebar conversations. Those conversations have nothing to do with me. It's not like anybody came to me. Well, yeah, I mean, there's people that have come on the back end and like, yeah, but I'm saying that like from the person who's originally
Thing that's kind of weird about all this is that all these things are being mentioned on the front end and never mentioned on the back end.
No,
and that's with every
during the
situation.
weekend when the alleged speculations and people speculating like nobody came to me over the weekend while I was in their presence and said anything, you know, to me about like, hey, what's going on here? Like it was nothing. So that's what's even more strange to me. Like nobody said anything to me. It was just like, oh, one day we're back on the app and it just comes out like, hey, this is what you were doing. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like, that is not true.
Right.
And I don't even know where it's coming from. So imagine me like, and then all of a sudden people are like, well, these conversations were had on the side. And why would you think that I would know about any of these side conversations? And I'm hearing this for the first time about myself. And it's a lie about myself. Like it's really odd. It's very, very weird. But no, nobody spoke to me about anything. Nobody said anything to me. It was like these conversations were just being had surrounding me, but nothing directly to me. And so I was completely oblivious. I was unaware of what was even being talked about. So it was like they obviously did a good job keeping it from me. And then all of a sudden it just comes out on the app. It's like, okay, was this planned? Was it intentional? Like, was it a setup? Like, what? Like, I'm not understanding. Like,
That's why,
why was I even invited? If like that was the case, if I was like, it just makes me see. I don't know.
it almost sounds like content. Like it sounds like all this is for, like, I don't know how else, it just doesn't make sense where it's coming from. Like, it doesn't, like, at least with certain people, I could kind of see, like, when they bring up stuff, there is kind of like this, like, oh, okay, they brought it up because of XYZ on the app already, or because that person was already like showing their ass and saying this and this. So then because they said this, then I could say this. Like, it kind of like, there is kind of that rule, unspoken rule, where it's like, if you already bring it up on the app, then you might not like us talking about it, but we can talk about it. That's kind of been that rule, right? So that's why I think with this is like breaking the rules, because you're bringing stuff from the back end to the front end, but you never had a conversation on the back end with the person.
Never, right?
Friendly,
or in person though, either. Like,
or
that's
either, yeah, right.
like
There's
that's the key. Like, the person's in front of you in the same vicinity, and you're like literally thinking this all in your head, or you're having these conversations with all these other people other than like the actual source. Like, you didn't hear it come from the horse's mouth.
Right. Like, there's no like receipt of anything that says,
No, not a shred of proof, not a shred of, just all speculation.
That's crazy.
It really is. It's the oddest thing ever. And it just makes the trust extremely low. Like, literally, like,
Well, there's no trust. I mean, in my opinion,
I
there's
would
no trust after that.
I would never go to another meetup again, ever.
Yeah.
Because like, if I can just show up correct and come, classy, and I'm respectful and all that stuff, and still walk away very much scathed by just rumors, like, I can only, like, it's just not, no, because there's other people's behaviors that aren't being discussed, but it's like, oh, this was your behavior for sure.
Or it's because it has to be of people that actually, like, people pay attention to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, has to be things that are like, it would have been.
Well, the thing is,
for example,
when the allegation even happened, a lot of people were saying like, AP's not that, like, that doesn't even make sense, right? Because that's not something that I've like really portrayed on the app like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, and that was the thing that I kept
a lot of the comments were like, that's weird. This is like everybody kept saying that the allegation was random. And if it was it was random. And so since it's so random, it's like, yeah, like, how can that be true? And the person was saying like, it's actual and factual. It's like, oh, did you see me in my hotel room, or did you see something?
Well,
like,
and this is a picture. Like, if there was an actual receipt of it, it would still be talked about right now. Like, it would be like
there's
huge.
Like not a, there's like no text message. There's no text message. The allegation was like, it was factual and actual, and that was so bizarre to me. Like, I would never do that to somebody else if I didn't.
People know, and a person that is your friend, but also a person that is friends with other people that you know, or even particularly exes that you know, it does kind of give a like, oh, let me start some drama.
Right. Like, oh,
and it's like,
let's say it, let's do it.
Right. And it's like, like, that's what's even crazier, because it's not, if it was a random person, I guarantee you, like, it would have never been whatever, but because it was somebody that people know.
Yeah, it was another character that was familiar, that people were familiar with. And so that to me deemed it like, okay, this was obviously this like looks premeditated. Like, this sounds very, very premeditated. But again, it's like, what's the motive behind doing that? Like, what's the motive behind making that allegation?
I think it has to be I don't know. To me, it's either a separation thing, like let me separate from certain people for whatever reasons, or it's a content thing. Like that's why it does. Those are the only things that in my head make sense, because it doesn't like all this. Like why? Like if I like, there's no way. Like I really felt. I mean, yeah, I felt bad for you, but I felt bad for Kells mostly because she was in their circle. Like at least I thought so.
Yeah,
Like
I
at least I
completely
thought
understand.
so.
Yeah.
And so it's like for her, like I feel like it's like blindsided. Like I feel like why did we even meet up that weekend? Like why
Yeah.
did we waste our like energy as
But
like
and that's exactly how I feel though, is blindsided by a rumor.
Yeah, blindside. Yeah, absolutely.
It feels completely like somebody's like hitting you from the back. Like you never saw it coming and somebody just like punching you in the back of the head. It's like, where the fuck is this coming from? Like what is going on right now? Yeah. So yeah, I can understand what your perspective is on Kells. Like, and it's just like, why were we even there? Why were we invited? Like, why did we do all this planning for that weekend? Like, what is this all about? Like, I just don't get it.
Because when you think about it, because Essence was at Barb's house too, right?
Yeah.
And then Erica, was Erica there?
I didn't see Erica Friday. I don't know. Because I did leave out
Like,
early.
did you see her at all that weekend besides
Yeah,
that
I did.
ball?
I saw her at the
Besides
ball. I definitely saw her at the ball.
Besides that, like,
I don't recall any. No, not out to eat or anything. When we went to brunch, she wasn't there, so I don't know where else I saw her. Probably at Barb's house on Sunday, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, okay. But needless to say, like this all happened. Well, Essence was at her house at least. But needless to say, all this happened. All the issues that she's complaining about, like not besides you, happened, and that's not even an issue for her when you think about it. But happened before that weekend.
Right, like
So
all
that's
those
what's even like
yeah,
what?
the issues that it sounds like are being discussed or came out, like those were very much present before the Atlanta weekend, like before the ball weekend. Like it was like clearly it was like they were present beforehand. So it's like I don't know. It's really odd to me.
And like no, and I understand like there's other, she has friends that are trying to, it's almost like they don't understand it either completely, but they're just trying to explain it, I guess. But like I can't explain, like I wouldn't be able to interpret something for you or explain something for you or go on your behalf if I don't understand it myself. Like if I don't agree if I don't agree with you on something and I don't understand why you're doing it, I'm not going to go on your behalf and say, well, she's doing this because of this. Like I would never do that because I don't get it and I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I get, like, that's why I'm just kind of confused at what's happening. And yeah, it's just like, that's why I think is this content because it doesn't make any sense. Now, as regards to you and Bree, like, I mean, obviously nothing happened between you two.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Correct.
Okay. And there was no receipt of anything. There was no text that she saw because she didn't present any receipt. There was no like, oh, I saw a text between da-da-da. Or, there's a video of her going into your room or this XYZ person saw them, whatever, like in an intimate, like there's no actual receipt of that. Like
nothing, like
no picture, no like text of y'all, like you saying something that y'all did or her saying something that y'all did.
Nope. Not that I'm aware of. I don't have. I know there's nothing on my end. I'll say this: there's nothing. Let me account for myself.
Yeah.
There is nothing from me to anybody, romantically, flirtatiously, or anything that was going on with any of those individuals that weekend.
And you're not even into women. Like you've never had.
I haven't dated a woman since like college. Like there's nothing. I haven't hopped in a woman's DMs. I haven't asked a woman out in 4K. I haven't expressed interest in a woman in 4K. Like I haven't done any of that. Like there's nothing that's like solid. Like, oh yeah, yep, AP and such are like nothing. There's nothing.
Like nobody could ever show proof that you were there in your DMs and you guys were like oh my God, we're
No,
gonna this weekend or
no,
hook up text or
no,
nothing like that.
no, nothing, nothing. It
God.
would literally have to be a fake text, which you could probably tell it's fake. If
Right.
somebody was trying to take it to that extent and like really try to, you know, make
Right.
it a thing, they would have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people aren't gonna do
Um,
that. We can't fabricate both.
about any conversation she had with Bree, I'm not privy to that. That has nothing to do with me. But as far as me and myself and what I can account for where I was, and as far as my body, I was completely alone. Nobody touched me. I didn't touch them. So
Right.
again, like it's the whole lying on me. Like it's absolutely not. It's like a complete 1,000% lie.
And it's like, where did that lie even come? Like, where did I
Yeah,
mean,
and as far as where it came from, again, that part doesn't even have to have anything to do with me. Because, like I said, nobody approached me directly. Nobody had a conversation with me. Nobody said anything to me, you know, during or after that weekend, like about anything that was like speculated.
right? Like you didn't hear about
So,
this until it happened on the app.
right, just the other day, the other night, right?
Insane.
Yeah, it's totally it's the most bizarre feeling to be in it, like in it, and for it to be about you, but you not be involved in any of the like in any of the conversations.
Right. It's like a
Like
like just from scratch, like a.
it's a bizarre feeling. Hey Keith.
Well, but is it because we've been accused of being behind certain pages or this or that,
Right.
and it's like there's been no like shred of proof. There's been no
Nothing linking us
indication.
to a fake page. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's just like that. It's like, okay, like
It's like right.
people's theories, and then they're trying to turn theories into fact and truth, and they can't. And so it's really weird how people will just sit there and just like, okay, I'm just gonna go with the lie, not the truth of like, hey, I really don't know who's behind this page that I don't, you know, but it's just like I'm just gonna run with the lie versus the truth, and like that is what's I for me, I that's what's like for me, that's what's like really weird that people are trying to do. Like I said, when they're bringing their new like games to the app, that's one of them. Is like, I don't care if this is a lie. I'm just gonna go with it. You know,
Right.
like
But I don't really hear anybody else that has backed up that stance of what she said though about you.
no, nobody, and nobody would. That's why I went off the way I did, because there's like, what are you gonna do? Like beyond you now saying this allegation or this making this accusation, like what else are you gonna do then to convince everybody that what you're saying is the truth? Because I know it's not the truth. So I'm just laying back. I'm just sitting back with a bucket of popcorn. Like, oh, this should be interesting.
Right.
What's up, Poca?
So we have your situation, which is completely fabricated, or even
Yeah.
maybe complete. Obviously, there's no merit to it.
Right.
And then we have other people's situations that it's like just confusion, like it's
Right. It's
misunderstanding.
confusion because people can't really remember parts of the situation.
Right.
They can't remember if certain things were said in conversations. They can't remember. Like, there was a lot of people that couldn't remember. And again, even with that, though, there weren't any receipts for those too, right? Like,
Right. Yeah. There's
there
no.
weren't anything. There wasn't. This was a whole just like a verbal conversation, and it was supposed to be taken as 1,000% the truth through and through. That's bizarre. Like that's bizarre.
I don't, and that's why I feel like how is it not? how is it real?
Saying it's
Because
scripted. Like,
I
yeah,
don't
you're
understand, because it doesn't make any, like, you know how, like, there's been a lot of stuff that I always say, like, this is weird, this is weird, this is weird. But it's like, this is like completely off, like,
I guess what I'm trying to understand whenever, people ask if things are scripted or whatever, it's like, what comes out of the script? Like, who benefits from the script then?
whoever is the
Like,
one that,
does Kel's benefit from it? Like, I'm trying to exactly figure out like who would end up benefiting from it. Exactly. Like who? And then I can probably go from there, but I don't
I
know.
mean, my real conspiracy brain would be like somebody's, saying, okay, you go live, we're gonna stream you, and then you stream us.
Yeah, so there's like a coalition on the back end.
Like that. That definitely does
Yeah,
sound like
I could see
something.
that. I could see
Like,
that. I could see. Now that would make sense if there was a text thread between a group of people that came out and everybody was like, okay, I'm going to play this part. You do this, you say this, you come out with that. I'll come out with this and I'll respond this way. Like that would make a sense to a lot of people. Then they would be like, oh, this was a whole freaking production.
Right.
But we don't even have that though. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's what makes it frustrating. Like, yeah, it seems that way, but then it's like, where's the proof in that? Like I
guess I would respect it more if that's what it was.
Yeah, I get what you're
And
saying.
it's like, okay, somebody actually put thought into this. Somebody actually put
effort.
like, yeah, like people are putting effort. People are entertaining the masses. Like people
exactly.
are, you know what I mean? Like, but then when there's no receipts for things, that's what kind of makes me think like maybe it's not scripted, because if you had it scripted, then you definitely have a receipt for it. Like there would definitely be, like, you would be able to make allegations with no receipts like this, for example, with you.
Yeah.
Like you can't just say something like that and that's part of it, but yet unless you're not in on the production, and that's the other thing. It's like, well,
yeah, there's like no eyewitnesses. The only eyewitnesses were at the group functions, like where people are just like assuming stuff. But it's like, okay, if you were to say me and Bree were friendly, like we were all friendly to each other. We all like, there was a lot of love in that room between everybody. Everybody was welcoming. Everybody was helpful. Everybody was jovial. Everybody was happy. Everybody was laughing together. We did a toast together. You know what I'm saying? Like we were making sure each other was good. Like everybody was doing that for one another. Why are we singling these two individuals out of the group? Like it doesn't make any sense. We're just going to pick two lucky winners to like we're gonna pick these two people right over here and just say this about them. What? Yeah, there was a camaraderie amongst the group. Exactly. Like there was, like we all were excited to meet up, hang out, and have fun. That was the overarching goal that was accomplished.
right.
So to now say like, oh, these two people were da 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 da. How? How? What are we talking about?
I mean,
because there was a lot of people that were, there were people that were flirtatious. If we want to go there were people that were flirtatious that evening. AP wasn't one of them. I'll say that for sure, because I can only account for myself, right? So I'll just say that much. There were flirtatious people there. AP was not one of them though.
Are there things that that did happen, maybe not with you, but that you know about that
that I've witnessed? Yeah, and I'm not gonna come out with it or say it, but yeah, there's things that I definitely witnessed.
that we
for
get.
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's things that I witnessed.
Well,
but it would start a whole thing on here, and I'm not even trying to be a part of it.
right.
How did it go from one extreme to the other? I don't know, honestly. I think that's just up to the individuals that were present, and I wouldn't know. I don't know. I just know how I showed up and how I arrived, and I know how I interacted with people, and that's all I can really go off of. I'm responsible for myself as an adult, and I know how I handled myself as an adult that weekend. So that's all I can say. I don't know how anything went from one extreme to the other. I would say that would be up to, you would have to ask every individual who was there, you know, and have them account for how they were and their behavior was. I'm definitely holding on to my peace for sure. For sure. Holding on to my peace. Like, I want no parts of like the drama and all that stuff. I want no parts of it. 2025 will be a brand new year for me, and I'm not taking any of this shit, you know, with me. Honestly, I'm not. I refuse. It's too much. Way too much. It's unnecessary. I want to live a fulfilling and happy life. I think I came and saw, conquered, did what I needed to do, what I felt like what was right for me to do and say on here, and that's where I'm gonna leave it.
Do you think there's any like alliances or mutuals or friendships that you wish like maybe you didn't have, like, you know, make, or is it like maybe situations that you wish weren't?
Honestly, I can't say that I'm not gonna live in a world of regret, because at the end of the day, like, I gotta chalk it all up to experience, and I'm wiser now because I feel like I was more naive, but now coming out of it, like, I learned a lot. So I don't want to take that learning back, because I want to move in to 2025 knowing what I know, so that I can better protect myself and better be aware. Hey, Petty Polly. And be more aware of how I need to move forward for myself.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good lesson then. If there's anything that you're gaining out of this situation, which is insane, it's a lesson that you're learning that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's crazy though, because it's not even like everybody, right? It's like just one. I mean, at this situation, it's just one main person that is kind of like,
yeah,
this is happening with. So
yeah. And I'm grateful that I didn't intertwine myself in certain friend groups to not have to be a part of that, right? I can't say that I'm happy to be lied on, because nobody wants to be lied on. But I'm glad that that's just the extent of it, and I'm not really a participant in any of that.
right,
stuff.
right. Like you're not in there deeper than
Yeah,
should be.
exactly. Nope.
Or else, like, I mean, there's been people that have, you know, I mean, obviously, where do you know, like friend groups, friend or chat groups that were exposed, and
Mm-hmm.
pictures that were exposed, and Discord, you know, stuff like that. So there's been a lot of stuff that has been kind of like, you know, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I've been exposed enough. You know, first part of this year was rough, you know, so I'm good, you know. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have questions for Barb too, but I feel like there's no point, because like other people are asking the same questions that I have, and
Yeah.
it's just
Okay.
like the answers are not, like, they're just not satisfactory to me. So I feel like,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
can't make people like answer the way that you want them to.
Right. Exactly.
So whether they're not answering on purpose that way, or whether it's whatever they just
Yeah.
want to say, like, you can't make people do that. So once you hear the question asked 3 different ways by different people,
Mm-hmm.
and then like and the answer is still the same without any new information, like, it's a waste of time. Like, it's kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
it's
It's
not
like
really-
whatever. It like, yeah, you literally just have to like let it go.
yeah, you lose interest in it, because now
And
it's just like,
I'm totally fine with letting it go. Like, I literally don't even want to question any of what Barb has going on. Like, whatever. Like, because like I said, I'm glad that I wasn't ingrained in the friend group, like, and had to deal with any of that, or like I'm out of it. Like, I washed my hands of it. Like, had a great weekend, had a fun weekend. I appreciate everybody who complimented me, who said, you know, nothing but nice things about, you know, everything, how I acted, to, you know, what I wore. I'm glad, you know, I had a good time. So I appreciate the support. I won't be going to anything further, like going into the future. I'm not going to be showing up anywhere with groups of people. I'm good on that. I'm just focusing on my peaceful existence. That's it.
Would you ever go to like the gala?
Like I had planned to originally, but this whole situation,
I don't
and
think you should
especially
let this
since
situation prevent you from going to that.
I don't know. That's tough. I
You
mean,
just
because
have to think- you just have to think about it,
I
but-
told Diamond I would go, and I know she was excited to have, and you know,
Yeah,
doing
I
the
wouldn't,
barbecue sauce,
I
but
wouldn't let it prevent you. Well, right now you're like still in the like.
yeah, it's like
So,
being
maybe
being
6
lied
months
on.
from now.
Like, I tell you that, like, that's really hurtful. Like, I don't think Barb understands. It's not just about like that was really extremely hurtful to me. Like, that really did hurt my feelings, and I'm not afraid to admit that.
It doesn't sound like she cares about.
Yeah, she
anybody's
doesn't.
feelings at this
No,
time.
not at all. And so that's like, and further, what hurts my feelings is like I supported her. I bought a T-shirt. I paid for liquor that I barely drank. For a photographer, all of that. Like, I was down 1,000% down, financially supportive, you know, and present. And for this to be the outcome is completely hurtful. So it's like, it makes me very hesitant to want to support other content creators and show up for them when I showed up very authentically and genuinely, without any issues or drama or anything or any disrespect. And this is the outcome of it. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So it doesn't make sense for me to be hopeful in the future and put myself in a situation like that again, right? For what the outcome to be, what it's going to be, the same or similar players that are going to be there at the gala, right?
I don't
So-
think it would be the same because you wouldn't be really with that, like, you know. I mean, like, I don't, and that's what. Okay, so I don't want like what she's doing to. I know it does overshadow right now, but I don't want it to, like, because you guys genuinely, y'all look like you had a good time, even at the ball, even despite all the shit that's whatever happening. Y'all still look like, you know, y'all had a good time, y'all had whatever, and you know, there might have been stuff on the background that people don't know about, but it wasn't drama concerning you, at least. You know, like, and so that's why I kind of like feel like I don't think you should let what's happening now like ruin the that time, like when you were having the time that you're having. I don't think that it's everybody either. Not everybody feels the same way. Like, not everybody's agreeing with her, even though she has friends there supporting her. I don't think they all agree with everything she's saying. Like, I really
Yeah.
don't.
It just, for me, it just puts, it's like, it's a bad aftertaste. That's hard. That's hard to do. Just because it really tastes bad right now. Like, I'm trying to get the taste out of my mouth before I can ponder if I would go to like the gala. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Right. So I think you should just let 6 months pass, however many months pass, and then just see how you feel at that time. Like, you don't have to commit to it now, obviously. I think
Right.
it's just something that I don't think that you should not go to that particular event just because of what's going on now with, you know, her and all that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, yeah. And I mean, there's so many things that I was like, I mean, I don't want to say like I thought like, well, like, you know, whatever, but I did hope for the best. Like, I did hope that you would have a great experience and all that. I'm just very leery of things. Like, I'm very
Yeah.
leery of people.
Yeah.
You know, and even Kev's event, I'm very leery. I was always leery of him. I never supported him. So it's just kind of like this. I don't, like, I feel like if I get this, like, okay, I don't really trust you at all. I don't know, you know, whatever. I would just be afraid to go out with like a group of people, knowing like how shit gets on TikTok and how people are and how they, you know. Like,
Yeah, that's just the part though, right? Like, if this was a regular event, say like, you know, locally you go to events,
Right.
but like I would be more trusting of that than going to an event with a bunch of people that have an account on TikTok to
Yeah.
then try to
Yeah.
spin a narrative once they
Yeah.
get back home
Right.
about how shit went. Like that's the part that sucks. Like it's not a bunch of people saying like, "Oh, we all had a good time," and then moving on to the next thing. It's like, "Oh, now there's this." Right, right,
Like it
exactly.
seems like from the beginning, that's what it's about is content. It's
And if it's
about
like for content, it's like who's getting paid? Like, are the people mentioned being paid? It's like no. Like so. I guess I can't resonate with that. And although it probably would make more sense to a lot of people if that was the reasoning, it's still fucked up because like who's benefiting from it being content? Like the people being mentioned, it's like, no, you're literally affecting, you know, them with the lies.
right.
For you to just gain content is extremely selfish.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. To me, it's just like this shit never, it just doesn't seem like it was in good faith, you know? So I don't know.
And it's interesting because all this stuff that actually, if you think about it, the stuff that happened with even Barb's house or y'all, it seems like is more overpowering what happened in the other house. Like that, we obviously, you know, we
Oh
didn't,
yeah, like it completely like, yeah, you would have thought we all had contracts.
right,
Like you
right,
would have thought we were all a part of an actual official production. You would have thought, you know what I'm saying? Like we were being documented for, you know, it to hit the TV screens or some shit. Like you would have thought, but like, no, we were just regular people. And it seemed like it was more shine on us as a group than anything else, any other people or individuals that weekend, which I don't particularly care for. Because, you know, all attention isn't good attention, but because you see the attention now is like not all good. But yeah, it seems like, yeah, that, yeah.
I mean, even the whole thing with Kev, like with Kev, the whole war on with Kev also, it
Right.
seems like that's, even though you guys have your own feelings about him or he does about you guys, it just seems like there is kind of this like weird, like, okay, there's a tension here. Like that was a big thing. That kind of like died down now. And then or like,
It's like,
you know,
what is it going to be next? You know what I'm saying? Just like thing after thing after thing after thing. Like, what is it going to be next now? Like, this thing doesn't seem like it's going to die down because people just keep, oh, let's revive, let's wake this up, let's wake that up. Let's
right.
like, why are we waking up things that, like, I just don't understand it. It doesn't. It's,
Well,
it's
there's
so,
even, I heard there was stuff being brought up from like months and months ago. Like,
yeah,
besides
that's the
Barker.
that part, right? Like
Just like,
mixing in with this, like what recent events with old, like it just, I don't know. it's it's truly, I don't know. It's chaotic. It's very chaotic. But yeah, that's why I'm just like I'm good off of this. I'm chill in real life. I'm super laid back in real life. So I don't I just, this is like, it's a bit much, you know. I don't know. I'm very kind of like big emotions like way because it's like being woken up out of my sleep. Like when I'm vibing and I'm, you know, chilling, you know, by myself or with other people, like for somebody to come and disturb that, it really irritates me. It really, really bothers me. So that's why, like, I don't know. I just don't want to go to another event, have a good time, and then people are purposely trying to ruin that good time or fuck up the vibe for whatever reason. Maybe they're jealous. Maybe they're and I haven't done anything directly to them. So it's like, no, I'm good on that.
Right. Like you'd expect it from people that you've like talked about or that you have issues with, or
Right.
like not
Yeah.
from people like don't have any issues with. That's what's
That you don't have issues with, you've never done anything to, and you actually supported them. Yeah, you would never
that's
expect
hella
it.
weird. That's like
Hella
that's
weird. Like it's
embarrassing.
hella weird.
I mean, I really don't think people agree with what's happening. Like, regardless if, like I said,
It's fine if they take that stance. I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, but like it's just the mere fact that it sucks that it even happened, right? Like
yeah,
that's what the downfall is that it even happened. Like things were said, in 4K that you can't take back, and then other people are like fighting for their lives, and then like, it's just not cool. So I actually feel bad for other people involved, the other people involved too. Like whether I like them or not, like I still feel bad for the other people involved. Like I do. At this point, like I do feel bad. So I don't know.
are you talking with the other people that she mentioned?
Yeah, that or anybody else who's been dragged in, like I feel bad for those individuals involved. Like seriously. Like I know I was lied on, but you know, I still in addition to that feel bad for other people that were involved. Like I feel bad for Kels. I feel bad for even how Peach felt and crying and all that stuff and hearing her emotions behind it. Like I feel bad that people are, feeling like this.
Well, I mean, Peach didn't even bring it up herself.
No, I know. Yeah, I know.
That's what's like sad too, because like she didn't even get a chance. I mean, maybe she should have brought it up at some point with her. I mean, obviously she should have, but like it's like, oh, boom, here it goes on the front.
Right.
Like, here's your bit. Like, I would never be able to trust that person again.
Yeah.
Like, any type of, and that means that you were going to say anybody's business at any point in time,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if it's not even true, like with your situation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, you're gonna spill it. Like, it's gonna get spilled. Like, you are the person that will reveal
And
it.
and then it's like I'm a grown ass woman. Like I have no reason to lie about anything that I'm fucking doing, right? Like it may not be any of your business, but like I don't have to sit there and lie about it. Like, um,
Right. Like,
like
it's not like, oh my God, like this.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
right,
Yeah,
like
it's not like an illegal thing. Or
yeah, it's not like it's illegal and I can get locked up for it or anything. Yeah, so it's like it's just that's another thing that's really
it's just
odd.
tea. It's literally tea. That's, well, first of all, it's not real, but it's actual. It's that's what it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's like for content, because all it is just is tea. That literally is tea. Now, other stuff was like she actually
yeah,
had interaction with, like, as far as like they're all cool friends, and then they had this in history, whatever, whatever. That was just straight up like, oh, here's the tea on this.
right.
So it was like you're definitely used in that way to get a reaction, to get
Yeah,
like,
that's how
oh
I
my
feel. I
God.
feel like I was used for sensationalism. I was
Yeah,
used.
that's exactly what. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to go, and that's part of my hesitancy going to future events because I'm not going to sit there and be used.
yeah.
No, you're not using me for content, not using me for any of that. So, and it's like obviously if I'm being used, I'm some sort of value, but in value it can be in a wrong way or a good way. So I'd
It would
rather
be
just
different if you were like if you were benefiting from
right
being
exactly,
used.
and
Like, you're
it's
not even
like I
benefiting from
wouldn't
being used.
benefit. To
Right.
experience from somebody. horrifying, to be honest. But mm, mm,
That's also like, I mean, like when certain guys have been called like, names that they weren't actually like,
yeah.
PT or predator, like that. Like, I mean, that's actually worse, obviously.
My thing
But
is like, there's things to be exposed. It's just there's not. What's crazy is that I'm not saying that there aren't things to be exposed, but what I'm saying is the things that are being exposed, like, are either false or unnecessary. Like, it just that part is what's probably most bizarre to me and very horrifying to me is the fact that yeah, if you wanted to expose some shit, you could expose some shit. But the shit that's been exposed is not the shit that I would think or deem as needing to be exposed.
right.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, you're saying there's other things that should be exposed and that's
Right.
not it. Yeah, and that's the thing.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. It's like, um, what do you call it? The whole, like, even like, that's why it seems, I think the reason why also there's a lot of confusion is because all this seems like a distraction or deflection from something.
Something bigger, right?
Right. Because it's like, how can, like, this stuff, like, when you stand back and look at, like, the stuff with Kells, the stuff with Erica, Essence, all that, when you stand back and look at it, it looks like off. Like, why is this a big deal? Like, let's say it did happen. Let's say every single thing, let's say Kells
Right.
upcharge. Because, people do upcharge people. But let's say 100%, yes, that happened. And then 100% Essence, Erica thing, yes, that happened. Three-way call, yep, all that. Let's say that all happened. Why does it matter now? Like, why are we talking about it now? Like, when you think about it, it's not a big deal actually that all happened.
Right.
Like, yeah, it happened, but okay, now
It's
what? Like, what is
the
that?
sensationalism. It's the shock factor that there was issues with Kells. I think that's a lot of people are trying to resonate with because nobody knew that.
But
Nobody knew that.
is that really an issue though? Like, oh, this person upcharged. Is that really an issue?
No, it's not. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that what's shocking to the public is that there was even an issue with Kells.
Right, right, but right, and I understand that. Like, we're all thinking, oh, she's in their group, she's tight with all of them, whatever, whatever.
Yeah, like that's the part. It's not about the individual shit. Like that's petty stuff, but it's just the fact that nobody knew that there were issues with Kells.
I don't think Kells even knew it though.
Yeah,
Kells
so
didn't even
I
know that there was an issue with her. So that's why it makes me think that all these things are for a bigger picture and a bigger point, and because
probably
it's like, who care? Okay, the upcharge. Okay, who cares? Like, let's say she's right. Okay, who cares? Like, let's say, like, yeah, the 3-year call. Okay, okay. Like, why? Like, why do we need to know that, and why do we care about that so much? Like, it's not. I feel like it's getting too big for the wrong stuff. Like, this isn't really any.
yeah, it's not
like,
the real
tea.
issue. What
Like,
you're saying
but
is
there's no actual tea either.
but you're what you're
like,
saying is it's not this is not the real issue and you can tell it's not the real issue.
right,
Like,
right,
that's
right. It
pretty
might be
much what
that,
it
yeah.
is.
Because like when people are asking her, is there anything deeper, and she's saying no. Like, what else do I need to say? It's like, because we're not buying it.
Right.
That's what people are saying. They're
Right.
saying we're not
You're
buying
saying
it.
we're not buying into what you're selling. Right.
Like, this
Exactly.
is like, yeah, like, this is not. I mean, we can't say how other people feel about other people and if it's genuine or not. But it's like, as a collective, I think most people are like, wait, what? Like, most people are kind of just like, how is this a real thing? Like, you guys really don't like what? When did that, like, it and it's like, and if that is a real reason, like, what? That's the reason why you don't like the person?
Right.
Like, that seems so shallow. Like, it seems too superficial. A deeper thing, like the way that Peach says she felt about Kells, like, that obviously has been going on. Like, that was a thing. That was something. It sounds like Kells really didn't know about that either, but that
Yeah.
does seem like it's deeper because of like her feelings that came out about it. It was like,
Right.
she felt a certain way, that the way she was treated. So that is something else by itself. Like, that's another thing, but I just, yeah.
Yeah, it's odd. It's definitely odd. It's just it's too much too. Honestly, it is too much. Hoping everybody can, be okay after this. Hoping everybody is okay. To be honest,
How can
like I
people be
said,
okay after that?
I don't know. I'm just hoping like that because I feel bad for people involved. Like it's just because it's unnecessary. It's uncalled for. I don't know. It's just I feel bad at the end of the day. That's just how I feel. So I hope they're okay, and I hope they can get through this. I hope they can all get through this and just come out lighter on the other end. I don't know. That's all I can offer up right now. Just in the midst of such confusion and just like
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, this is me not even watching like what happened or listening to what happened. I don't even know how it went down. But I kind of don't want to watch it because it's just too
Yeah, it's a lot.
like
It makes me.
if I'm talking to you right now and I think this way, like I'm gonna be even extra like what the
Yeah,
fuck because
it
it's
makes my.
so.
It literally makes my stomach turn. Like it's like, ugh, mm, makes my stomach turn. But
Especially when you like the person. Like it's not like
yeah, yeah. It's worse when it comes from somebody you least expect it to.
right. But I mean, it couldn't have happened if you weren't there. Like
Yeah, true. True.
there has to be some controversy if you're there. So why is that a thing? Like
You
you
know what's
can't
funny
reach
too,
like it's reaching. It's like
and this is that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like if you would have kept, like if you would have caught me in my college years, you might have been able to get that out of me for sure. That was before I had a child. I wasn't a parent. I wasn't a mom. Um, I lived on campus. I wasn't a homeowner. I didn't have all these things. So you could have probably got that out of me back then.
right,
But like now, like, no, I have a whole barbecue sauce business. You know what I'm saying? Like, and shit I have to deal with behind that, Drea. Like, so
yeah,
I definitely don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in a position where I am responsible for shit, big shit, bigger shit than a lot of people on the app that I probably interact with are responsible for themselves.
right,
So for me, shit's different for me. I don't know about other people and what they're responsible for, but I know for me, I have big fish that I'm fucking responsible for. So on different levels. So
yeah,
I definitely don't have time for any of that shit. Like, so you should have caught me about, 10 years ago when I was in school. Now, not so much. Could have made them, could have weighed, or I could have risked the mistake back in college. But now, as an adult responsible for shit, like, no.
right, yeah.
It just hits different, we're in
Well, I just think
adulthood.
it's a waste of like, why am I to risk anything for a stranger on the internet?
Yeah, facts. What am I tell a
What are
judge?
we doing here?
Like, what am I gonna tell a judge? Explain that, oh, this beef started on TikTok. I'm like, what the fuck are you? Why don't you just stay
I
the
would
fuck?
be embarrassed. Like my whole family, like they would be like,
Hell
wait,
yeah! Like, imagine, right? Like, imagine. So it's like, but then people are like, well, it's crazy because people are like, well, you pop big shit on the app, AP. Who, in comparison to whom on this app though? Because
right. It's not like you're
AP,
saying like, oh, I'm gonna go and beat your ass. I'm gonna go and
right,
like you're not one of those people. You might have said
right.
at one point, but you're not like like I don't okay. I personally, I don't think I've ever actually heard you say that I'm gonna beat your ass. I mean, you could have, but you definitely are not the person that says that like over and over. Like,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna beat your. I'm gonna
Right.
like you don't. You're
I
not that
say
person.
things. The thing is, when people say I pop my shit, I say things in ways that you feel it.
Yeah, you
What you're saying.
unapologetically, it hits.
Absolutely. It
Right.
hits. So, I'd bet like it's better if they just came off and said that, but that would be almost on the no, it's no fucking different.
Right. Like, what
Not
are we
any
talking about here?
not different. We all pop our shit on here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So to want to take it to that extreme, like you feel like my words hit better than yours. Like I obviously yours aren't moving me to want to make the decisions that you want to make. And that's the problem, I guess. And you're trying to get a rise out of me to make those decisions that you're making, and it's just not going to work. I'm much smarter than that.
Right.
Hi, Dre, got a vibe over there. Makes me want. I wish we lived in the same area so we could like go out.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I gotta see where I'm gonna move.
I was just thinking it out.
I'm like, I'm probably going back.
How'd you know I was gonna ask you about that? I was gonna ask you about like where your next location's gonna be.
I don't know. I might move to California.
All right, I'm gonna go. You're about to piss me off.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta see the money. There's a lot of good money right now in Massachusetts, but
I've never been to Massachusetts.
yeah, there's some good money there. But also in California too.
I really do feel another nap coming on.
So have you been watching all this, or do you think it's just like bullshit?
Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I've been playing games on my phone. I've been like in another world. I found this new cooking game on the phone, on my phone, and I've been like immersed in that. I've kind of been peeping shit here and there, like when I check on the app, different stuff. But I've been cleaning up my main page. I've been cleaning up a lot of mess, so I don't have to see it in my algorithm, and it's pretty airtight now. Like it's clean.
Oh
Like,
no, I gotta see who you block because I'm gonna be shocked.
like there's nothing. Hey, Stacy. Like there's hardly anything, and I mean like blocking the blogs, blocking a lot of shit on my main page. I don't be on my backups that often unless my main is whatever, but the main one is the one I scroll. Backups are just used for the pages in case my shit is taken. But yeah, I've been cleaning the fuck out of my main page, like unfollowing a lot of people. Oh, intentional I'm trying to be with like moving forward.
Hey Tim.
Hey Tim. No, I said hi to you, Tim. I think you must have. I think you.
Yeah, she did say hi to you.
Yeah, I think you left the room because you. Yeah. But I did respond to you. I did. Yeah, Stacey, I'm definitely protecting my peace. I think I've done enough fighting. I think I'm fine with how I left it, 2024. Fought back, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like if there's been any type of like if there's been like a character like, oh, you're a character, I feel like you've definitely been like the most underpaid character.
Probably, yeah.
Like you have not really monetized as much as like you probably should.
No, I haven't because I didn't set out to, and I think for me, and you know how I am. I think for me, I don't want to monetize this way that everybody else is monetizing.
Right.
I think for me, that's always been something that's fucked with my own morality as far as how I make money.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make money for my actual hard work and efforts, not beefing with people on the internet or making them think something or playing games on the online. Like, I think I want to do something more powerful and more impactful than that. To me, that's just me.
But it's like, but like I've said before in the past, like if you're already, like I understand what you're saying, right? Like that is like the principle, like that you want to hold on to. But at the end of the day, if what happens is not like if your actions, like if you're already doing this and that, it's like I don't see a reason why people wouldn't monetize off that if you're already doing it.
Yeah, but I think
And I know
I
you're not
I
like
think
purposely doing it, but
yeah, I
like
think
in a
that's what it
way,
is.
it's
I don't
like
think I planned on. I think for me, it's nothing I wanted to commit to continuing to do. I think I always knew that I was going to make a right turn and just make that turn permanently and then go about things differently. I just don't think I wanted, I just knew I wasn't going to stay on this train long. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And one thing turns into another, which turns into another, which turns
right,
into another. So that's how things like prolonged.
yeah,
But I think I always knew in my mind there was going to be an end game to it. There was going to be a stopping point.
right.
So,
I mean, there's like
and Stacy down there makes a good point, right? Like, so I think the type of energy I want to provide to other people is peace ultimately, even though I haven't been that peaceful on the app like that. I think that that is like what would make me sleep at night and feel good at night is knowing that I provide peace for other people and not this utter chaos where I'm always clapping back. I know that's entertaining and it is fun to partake in, but I feel like I've run that course long enough that I now can move on to do something else. Because truly the individuals like on Messy side have completely turned me off anyways, that I really don't want to interact with them any longer.
right.
Like I really don't. Like I don't see a future with the people of Messy Talk. Like those aren't my people. Like I can't, and I refuse to think that my future consists of them.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like I didn't embark on the monetizing part. Now I can't say that I haven't gotten any money because
Right.
truth be told, I didn't even realize like PayPal has been like depositing money in my account from TikTok and that was unintentional. So I know I can monetize. I just didn't I didn't take the opportunity to do that and I didn't want to do it that way. I just didn't.
I think it's kind of like me, like with like a lease, right? Like if I have a lease, like 12-month lease, and then
Yeah.
I feel like okay, I broke or not, I broke. I'm out of the lease now, month to month. It's kind of like that. Like I didn't know I was going to be here 5 more months, or else I would have signed another lease to get it cheaper.
Yeah.
Now that I'm month to month, I'm paying more, but I'm not actually like I'm not benefiting because I didn't sign the lease because I didn't think I was going to be here that long.
Right.
And so that's kind of
Exactly.
like I think it's kind of like that, like with like literally what's happening with me.
Yo,
Like
that was a chef's kiss analogy.
I appreciate it. I'm here all week.
You're like, shut the fuck up.
Actually, I'll be here and in California this week, but yeah,
Hey, bro, don't piss me off.
yeah, I'm flying into San Francisco Wednesday.
But no, literally, like, I literally don't see my future with the people of Messy Talk. I don't want it to be that. I don't want those individuals being a part of my future. I don't see them as part of my plan. I don't see them as part of like what I want to, the person I want to evolve into. I don't see them a part of that at all. Like I know there's an end game. Hey, Lon, how are you? I don't see that for myself. Like I see you, Dre, of course, obviously a part of my future because you're my best friend. But like when you're talking about like this whole side and the messiness that goes on, no, I want to leave them. And I knew I was always going to leave them. That's the whole thing. I think people think that like this thing is like forever because they see other individuals on this side year after year. Not me. Like for myself, I'm intend on making other plans.
Right. Right.
And I kind of have to, because you know what I'm saying? You know my life, like personally, on a personal level. Like I can't continue that. Like
Yeah.
I can't keep doing that anyways. So it was fun while it lasted. It got real crazy when it was crazy. It got real dramatic when it got dramatic. And I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
I came, I saw, I conquered. I had a good time in Atlanta. I hate the after effects of Atlanta, but I'm happy and fine with just leaving everything right the fuck where, and leaving everybody right the fuck where they are.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a good approach. I think that's a good resolution. I mean, what, New Year's in like 2 days. I think that it would be healthy for everybody to not carry any of this stuff into the new year. Like, even if like people are still on messy talk, I still don't feel like any of the beef from last year should be carried over. Like, I don't think. I mean, obviously, if it's this week, it's different. But like, I mean, like all the stuff that's already been recycled like 50,000 times. Like, I feel like that stuff just needs to stay where it's at, and it doesn't need to be carried over into like a beef again.
Yeah.
Like, even okay, so for example, like, let me talk very specifically. Like, even the stuff with like you and what do you call it, like all the stuff, like all the stuff that's been happening with you and the people that you don't like, the people that don't like you, like, I don't, none of that stuff is fresh anymore. Like, it's not new anymore. Like, it's all just like,
No, yeah, it's not.
so
Yeah.
I don't think any of that should be brought into the new year. Like, I don't think
so either. I think I agree with you on that. And I'm hoping that the people that rock with me want to grow with me. You know what I'm saying? That's totally fine. And if people just wanted to see me yell and do all that, like, I'm gonna have to leave you behind, and that's fine too, you know. But
I think it's because I think a lot of people do, like, not just see as entertainment with you, but like you actually like have more substance to what you're saying when you do clap back. You're not just like talking out your, like, you're not just saying stuff that has
hateful.
nothing. Yeah, like you're not just like you, oh, but like you're not like, there's some people that when they read, like, they just they're
Yeah,
good at, they're good at roasting, but you're good at like actually saying the reasons why you're saying the reasons why what you're saying.
Yeah,
And you have points to it, and I think a lot of people don't do it like that.
I'm so glad you made that point, because that only supports why I'm leaving all of the everybody on Messy Talk where the fuck they are at, because I've always said this. I'm not a reader. I don't read people down. I think people, when I give my logic and I explain shit a certain way, they deem it as a read, but I don't deem it as a read. And so I would have this conversation with this is just how I grew up, you know, in a male dominated household, arguing and fussing with my brothers and my dad. Like, we talk like this, right? It's just that back and forth banter. I call it bantering, right? I banter back and forth. That's what I do. I don't read. So, I just want to turn that into something else more productive for myself. And I don't mind monetizing off of that. But as far as like gimmicks and the entertainment and, you know, pussy asshole, that's not my shit. It's not my shit.
Right.
And I think you knew that from day one. I'm not that type of person. So, like, yeah, I can cuss somebody out. I don't like to. I prefer not to, but I do, you know, if I feel the need to, I will. But, you know, I want to leave that where it is, and I want to embark on new things. Not even new things. I need to embrace the boss that I fucking am. Pretty much everything that people are mad at me for, when I walk in a room and they feel me in a room and all that shit, I plan on doing that 20 times more in the future going forward. And so I want to fully embrace that without having to deal with people who hate that about me, right? And I only want to level up with motherfuckers who are leveling up with me.
Gotcha. Right.
So I can't have people lingering that stunt my fucking growth, or try to make me feel some type of way, or try to just demolish my confidence. because it's not going anywhere. So my confidence is only going to increase, and it needs to, because that's just the direction it's headed. It's just inevitable. It's like nature with me. So it is what it is.
I think my biggest thing is that I didn't like some of the people that you kept on having issues with, because I didn't think that they were worth it. Like,
Oh, I know.
I didn't
I
think
know.
that it's worth having the same issue or certain issues with this person or this person, because it's like they're not like there's nothing
know.
that they're not giving enough like substance back. It's just bullshit, and it's just
Right.
like, it's like, really, you got to pick a more worthy opponent. Like,
I know.
you gotta
I
pick
know.
a person that can actually has the intellectual like capacity.
You've talked to me about this so many times, and yeah. So
Like, it has to be like I always say, I'm
have
not
to
gonna go
respect
back
you.
and forth with somebody if I don't respect you.
I know. Yep. You're right.
Like, it's a waste of. It's like,
You're right.
what? Especially a stranger I don't respect.
You're right, though.
I mean, at least that's why I mentioned, like, it has to be, hey, Cloud Chaser, it has to be certain people. So, like, for example, like when I brought up Kappa the other night, I said, if she said, because I've actually met her in person, like, we've met her in person, right? Kappa.
Oh yeah, Kappa. Yeah.
Like, if Kappa asked me a question or wanted to talk to me, like, on the front end in public about whatever XYZ, I would know that whatever her intentions, like, I would know that at least that they're not coming from like a mischievous place.
Right.
Like, I don't get that vibe from her, right? Like, there's certain people I do respect on the app that don't know, like, I respect them like that I don't get that vibe in, and I would entertain them or their questions or their whatever. But most of the people, it's like, yeah, especially when you're gonna lie and make up stuff about me and all that. Then I'm like,
Yeah, like, and that's the other that's the biggest thing. It's the game. It's like, I used to think Messi was Game of Thrones, and it is, but it's actually Game of Lies.
Yeah,
that's what it's become, right? It's not even. I wouldn't even say
it's gotten cheap. It's gotten cheaper.
Yeah, it's gotten cheap, exactly, and it feels cheaper. It feels cheap to even be over there, right? It's like, it's not even Messy talk anymore. It's Game of Lies.
Right.
That's what it should be fucking titled.
Right.
It's Game of Lies over there. So it's like, I'm not trying to enter that at all, because that shit can get ultra crazy, and to the point where people aren't going to be able to recognize themselves. And at this end of the day, I want to be able to still recognize AP at the end of the day, no matter what I do. I cannot fucking I can't keep going there. So,
well, I think that's why for some people, or it might be a good idea to take the emotion out of it, because if you're just purely monetizing off of it, then okay, that's what you want to do, like, whatever. But if you, like, Black Diamond, right? She has her show in the mornings. She's able to, like, don't blame, whatever. She runs the same show. Black Diamond people have been trying to cancel her every single time, but it's like she's never actually been canceled. Like,
well, you got to think about it. Even if you draw your emotions out of it for however long your live stream goes during the day, and you know this, like, right? And I can't really compare it medically, but hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from. But even if you were to take your emotion out of it for 6 hours or however long your live stream show is, when you end that live stream and you're in your own space by yourself, you still feel the remnants of that.
I bet. Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Right. Yeah.
That still affects you. And that's what I'm talking about when even Stacey's talking about protect your peace. People don't realize that's the peace that you truly want to protect. Even if you're live and you take that emotion out of it and it's just business, that shit still follows you after you end that live stream.
Right.
And you're by yourself. Those voices and the things people are saying and all that shit is still carries with you. You're human. That's the human side. You're not a robot during the 6 hours. You might not be you might not be reacting during the live stream show, and you know what I'm saying? And you're ignoring all the hits that are being thrown at you and all that stuff. You still, though, after that, that's why Diamond would have to take breaks, though. If it was really true emotion taken out of it, you wouldn't even need to take breaks. You'd just be on it
I think it's definitely exhaustion of your mental and your emotional. Like it's because like it's kind of okay. So you were saying you compare it medically. Well, like for example, working as a nurse, like you know, especially like if I work in the ER, like I always use this example. Like it's one patient that they're there because their toe hurts for the last 6 months. Another patient is like just overdosed on on rugs. So it's kind of like you have two very different things happening. Both of them are utilizing the same facility for emergency services, but one is clearly an emergency and the other one clearly isn't. So it's kind of like your emotions from one thing to another is like a roller coaster. Because I'm going from, wow, I just saved this person's life by giving them this medication that just reversed all of the things that they had in their system. I saved this person was on the brink of unaliving, and then this other person, their toe's been hurting for the last 6 months. So it's like I have to go from that to like that. Mm-hmm. Like I have to go from like, oh, I don't have I need apple juice. Like I have to go from, oh, I just like did CPR on this person to like, oh, I need apple juice in another room. Mm-hmm. Like what? Like that's crazy. Like or complaining about something that is like, like really? Like this is the ER. Like it's that type of thing. It's like we have to like we have to be compartmentalized, and very quickly our emotions have to be like that's why a lot of us, we do kind of take our emotions out of it because we have to, or else we won't survive.
But do you feel it after your shift?
No, and that's what I was going to say. So like at the time, like we have to, because we won't survive if we do. Okay.
Right.
Like at least not in the ER. Like maybe other departments, maybe other whatever, but not in the ER. And so it's like, but I know that all that stuff, even though I'm compartmentalizing, even though like I'm not dealing with it, because I can't, I really can't.